Hey, y'all, this is Rick with Uncommon Communion, and I have a lot of my mind and heart tonight. And you can see it in the headline that I put up in the for this particular post. And I think it is becoming clear that this is a wave that is approaching. This is something that is imminent that we need to prepare for. And I want to talk to you about that. And that is the coming energy oil spike in prices and also possible shortages, likely shortages, and what that could mean. And I also want to share that how I was sort of navigating the graduation of my youngest daughter yesterday. I wrote about that in yesterday's post, which again was a brief post. Appreciate your understanding that. And how I navigated this absolutely over the top in many ways graduation in light of what is approaching, in light of what is here now with the insanity, the increasing daily insanity of the madman king baby Trump and what is approaching on the very near horizon. So, a lot to talk about. I'll try to keep it brief and focused. And I do want to get through the Psalms. There's three Psalms. I don't want to lose track of the Psalms. I don't want to lose this momentum that we have as it ends at the end of this month. May 30th is Psalm 150, and I want to get there. So let's ground ourselves by beginning in the truth and in the knowledge that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. And I say this as a reminder to myself and to us of what really matters, right? And I have to remind myself that it's not about the stuff, it's not about the shopping, it's not about the instant and immediate gratification, it's about the basics. What it takes to nourish myself, to be healthy, to be awake, and to be alive. And here's the reality, y'all, that none of us really want to acknowledge is that all of what we do in this modern world, as far as what we take for granted, is based on oil. And because of this war that was unnecessary and that we've lost, we're not losing it, we have lost. And the reason we have lost is because, to really no one's surprise who has a brain, Iran closed and controlled where the oil flows to the world. And here's the thing, y'all, and I'm going to refer you to a fairly long article, but one that I read on Saturday night, and the timing on that is important here, about the coming shortages and about what that is going to look like. And the fact that it is not speculation, it's math and time and volume and all that kind of stuff. So I really encourage you to read that and to think about that and to prepare for it. And there's another article I'm referencing about preparation, what we can do to prepare today, what I plan to do starting tomorrow in shopping and stocking. So I say all of that, y'all, because, and I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to encourage you to read that. I don't want to rehash that. But just to say that that is on my mind, and it was on my mind on Sunday at this graduation. Now, as I wrote, I am tremendously proud of my daughter for getting through college. I am very grateful to my parents for providing financial support to do that. I am so proud of her. And yet, I was just disgusted at what was not said during this graduation. And two things come to mind, and I'll say what was present and what was missing. And I'll start with what was present first. And you may know Ohio State. Anybody who lives here in Columbus certainly knows it, but maybe even nationally, this is getting attention. Les Wexner, financial advisor, closely implicated in everything Epstein, who has so far avoided any kind of real ramifications, like all the rest of the Epstein class. His name is all over everything at OSU, including the Wexner Medical System. Yeah, I just had a bill that I paid this evening just a little while ago, and it was to the Wexner Medical Center. It's right there on the bill. And the speaker that they had, the keynote speaker, something about he some kind of philanthropist. I don't know. I read his bio, and he was terrible. I mean, he to kind of describe him. He was what if you put into AI a generator and said, "What is give me an old rich white guy who is boring and who is just all just not meaningful." He is what it would have been spat out. And what was amazing was you could barely hear him. For some reason the mic was really bad, but there were subtitles you could see up on the big screen, right? And at one point he said to the students, he was trying to make a point that the university, as when they become alumni, the university is theirs. They own the university, right? And he wanted to do this call and response where he said, you who owns this university, and he wanted them, the graduates, the soon to be graduates, to say, we do. And I was biting my tongue, y'all. I really literally was biting my tongue to not yell out Wexner. Right? And here's the thing, y'all. It was quiet where I was sitting with the parents and the attendees, and had I yelled with the voice I had, it would have been heard. And I would not have made any friends, but it would have been something. But I'm glad I didn't do that. Honestly, I'll be honest. I'm glad I didn't, although it was begging for it. That was just part of what left me feeling this just disgust. The other part was the university president, who is a brand new president. Apparently, he's like the fourth or the fifth in almost as many years. And his speech, I mean, it was well spoken. You could hear him, which is something. He told some stories about graduates and the hardships, and that's great. It was inspiring. What he didn't say, he talked about service and civic. He mentioned those kind of buzzwords. But what he didn't say to the students, none of the speakers said this. And there were really only three speakers, the terrible one that I described, and then an alumni speaker at the end talked about her mom, and she was the best of the bunch. This is Mother's Day, of course. But the president, he said nothing to the students about their challenges they're going to face, the great challenges. There was no talk of heroism and, overcoming challenges. There was no talk about democracy and voting and shaping the future. All that stuff that you normally hear in keynote, in graduation speeches was gone. It was totally absent. And there's a very real reason why, because Ohio is a reddish state. The funding for this university comes from the billionaire class. I mean, the Wexners and the many, many others who were there, maybe, who knows, but who fund this. And he couldn't tell the truth. He couldn't say anything. And here I am thinking, y'all, looking at these graduates, listening to this, rolling over in my head what is in the article that I'm referring to about this certain energy crisis that's going to be here in weeks, right? Certainly by summer. Just rolling that over in my head and just so in shock and stunned by this silence, and just by the same feeling that I've been feeling. I've shared this before about going to volleyball games, and where's the outrage? But it's not even outrage anymore. At this point, this is a house on fire. We have a mad king who can't even stay awake during his own press conferences. Did you see that today? And nobody is doing anything. Now, what can I do? What am I doing? Am I stopping shopping? Am I doing those things? No, not really. Right? And even by prepping and stocking up on basics, which I do plan to do, that's not really solving anything. And yet, here we are. So I share this with you all, not to be a bummer or not to be a downer, to maybe alert you to this, to prepare, to think about this. And also because what matters in these times is community based on real solid foundations. And neighbors, community, the people that live next door, the people that live in your neighborhood. Because one of the things that is almost certainly going to happen here is we're going to not be driving as much. We're going to have shortages. We're going to maybe go hungry, right? In some ways. So we need to take care of each other. All right, y'all. Let's talk about the Psalms. I do want to get through the three Psalms. They're, again, fairly short in this segment. I'm going to reference the third Psalm, which is Psalm 132. That is what we are up to. That's a fairly long psalm, and that is one of the numerous psalms that talk about the Ark of the Covenant and bringing that into the temple, and God has this home and so forth. And there's a historical, value to remembering that. And yet this idea of God living in a box is I think so limiting of God and really kind of a pathetic sort of idea. So we're not going to go into that one. The first psalm that again picks us up where I left off, which would be Psalm 130, that would have been Sunday's psalm. There's a great voice in there, a great verse in there that says, "From the depths of my being, I keep watching for my honored chief, more than those who watch for the morning light. Yes, more than those who watch for the morning light." And this idea of waiting and watching and looking for God, just like we are looking for the sunrise, where the dark night ending and the sun rising. The reality is, though, sometimes the dark night is coming, and the goal is to find light in the midst of that, and there always is light, even in what is on the near horizon with this energy shortages. We don't even want to call them price spikes. There is still going to be sunlight there. Part of it is going to be preparing, and a big part of it also is going to be caring for each other. I want to close with the middle psalm in this set, and it's only 3 verses. I before doing this activity, I didn't know there were 3-verse psalms. I thought the shortest was like maybe 6 verses, but 3, it's pretty short. And I really like this one, Psalm 131, and this will be our closing prayer because I think it covers a lot in just a few words. So here it is, Psalm 131. Grandfather, my heart is not puffed up. My eyes have not been raised too high. I do not walk in the ways that are too great for me, or on paths full of wonders beyond my understanding. I have found rest for my soul in harmony and balance. My soul is at peace, like a child who no longer hungers for its mother's milk. O tribes of wrestles with Creator Israel, put all your hope and trust in Grandfather today and for all days to come. So yeah, y'all, we need to do what that old saying is: work is as if everything depended on you, and pray is as if everything depended on God. And we got to do both of these now in this time of crisis, this time of urgency, this time of emergency that is approaching. Pray and work and love and be well, be bold, and hold fast, y'all. Blessing and good.